Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What's Your Mess? Mental, Emotional, Social Status of Life. I am your host, Tracey D. Armstrong, and I'm back again with another amazing guest. Remember, as we share these stories today, it's not just about her story, but it's also about her triumph, her resilience, and her strength to overcome what she went through. So I'm going to get quiet and get out of the way and let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
My name is Jacqueline Waller, and I am the original founder of a company called You Are Loved Store. I've and it's just like something that we created during the pandemic to be able to help bring some light back to people's lives, and it's just been quite the journey over these last several years. So,
All
yeah.
right. Well, welcome, Jacqueline. And you said it's a company called You Are Loved, right?
Yes. Yeah, You Are Loved Store is the name of it. Yeah.
You are love store. Love it. Love the title first of all, because everybody needs to remember you are loved.
Yes.
And I know that that hasn't always been the situation. Like you say, you started that during the pandemic. So let's tell everyone a little bit about your mess and what you've gone through in life.
So, outside of like when I moved out of my house at 17, graduated high school running a room from one of my friends, and just kind of figured it all out. Um and through that, moved from South Florida to Atlanta, Georgia back in 2006. It was interesting how God just opened up like all these doors for me. And at that time, I had my pit and actually found an apartment that would allow me to have him, which was kind of crazy. And so that was great. And it was close to my job and all that stuff. Then he kept being an escape artist. So we had to leave there after a couple of years. And but I love it here in Georgia. But about 5 or 6 years ago, uh, my mom got really sick. She's a two-time stroke survivor, and she's fully disabled on one side of her body, and her cognitive skills have were depleted. Um and me living here in Georgia and my mom living in South Florida was really hard. Um and just really kind of trying to figure out how to make sure she had care. And she had first had her first stroke, and then she ended up having another one a year later, but she's been stroke free for 6 years, praise God. So with that, and then um it was hard. Right? It's just it was a lot of emotions. I was angry, I was sad, I was overwhelmed, I was frustrated, thankful that my mom was still with me, and I'm an only child with her, so, having to, like, figure out all the finances and figuring out how to care for 2 households. So my dad's family, like his half brother and sister-in-law, live in my mom's house now, and my aunt does an amazing job taking care of my mom. So, um, back in like 2017, I ended up going to hiring a therapist to help me deal with a lot of my past traumas of sexual assault, of dealing with emotionally unavailable parents, and really just kind of figuring out how to heal from that, and and how to emotionally grow, so that way I didn't have to be living with like this frustration and anger inside of me. Cause like with my friends and family and stuff, like I'm like a great hugger. Like if my close friends and stuff like that, and this started when I was a kid, when I was with my mom, living with my mom, I would be like, make sure like with her and my dad, and just I'd make sure that we told each other we loved each other before we hung up on the
Hmm.
phone. So, that really kind of carried in. And then, during the pandemic, when we were going through that, I just saw a lot of, hurt in the world. Um, sorry, kind of the therapy really helped me heal, right? And helped me learn how to have, sorry, I kind of jumped away from that. It helped me learn how to have coping, not coping skills, but tools. It helped me learn how to have tools that would teach me how to deal with situations and frustration and different things like that when I was feeling like I'm being attacked and stuff like that. My first response was always to like attack first, and I will like get you before you can get me, which is not good because we don't always know where other people are coming from, you know? And so I'm not perfect, but I've definitely gotten better. But I think that was another thing, like with um the company, is like we just wanted to be able to help show more love to others. And that's something that is like the part of myself that I love. Is that when I'm showing kindness and love and caring and supports to the people in my life that I care about. And even to strangers, when God leads me to do that. So,
Right.
yeah.
So that, yeah, no, 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 you're
Yeah.
good. That, and you literally right there, you just unpacked a lot right there
Yeah.
in that synopsis. And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to
Yeah.
a couple of things that you
Yeah,
said.
please.
And I want to talk a little bit about like being the caregiver and when your mother got sick and things like that. Because I know that there's a lot of people out there who go through those types of situations
Yeah.
where they're trying to care for a loved one. Could you talk about how did that affect you mentally first?
Um, I'm assuming that it took a deep toll on me just because I felt like during a large part of the process, I was just numb and just like driving through it and figuring stuff out and trying to figure out how to make it all work. And I don't think that I ever really gave myself a chance to emotionally deal with that. Like I have an issue with being vulnerable and probably because of my parents, right? They were emotionally unavailable. uh um but I definitely it would come out during times where the other thing is that if I allow myself to feel too much, I think when I'm with my mom and stuff like that, or to really get into it, that I'm just gonna cry.
Mhm.
And so that does come out from time to time, where I'm just like, I just cry and I'm just like, uh this is just crazy, and I'm frustrated that I don't have, more financial resources to be able to provide her with high level care. And
Mhm.
like we're dealing with the state because my mom wasn't fiscally responsible herself, right? She's leaving me a house, but it wasn't in the greatest condition, right? So it's like thanks, but we're just trying to work through this, like, and frustrated with myself because I can't help her more, and sad about that. And then having to come to a place of forgiveness for my mom and a place of forgiveness for myself, so that way I can be a better child for her. Because when I was a kid, I had always promised my mom that I would never put her in a nursing home. And
Mm.
praise God, during from starting in 2020, that wasn't the case, because I know that my mom wouldn't be here now because she can't
Mhm.
communicate and all that stuff. So I'm thankful that the Lord opened up the door for it to be able to be done. Because yes, all this has happened, but I've still been able to live in Atlanta still, even though I travel. I'm always back and forth. But I'm able to be here because now my dad lives 3 hours from me in Georgia, and he's 76 now, and his short term memory, starting to be affected. And he has
Mhm.
another daughter, but she's not. active at all and has nothing to do with him. So it's me for both on parents and in 2 different states. And I'm, like, in between, you know? So it's like trying to juggle it all. So,
Right. I'm
yeah.
trying to juggle it all.
Yeah.
I'm sure that took a, like you say, you kind of was numb and kind of like going through it.
Yeah.
But then, like emotionally, I know, like you don't want to really cry. Like when you get too emotional, it's like you
Yeah.
just want to cry, and then it's like, well, crying isn't gonna get anything, and then so you try not to cry, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I want to say, I want to go back to something you said because I'm going into the emotional part.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
can you explain a little bit more about the emotionally unavailable part? Because you said that you're not really emotional because they were emotionally unavailable. What does that look like? What did that look like?
So my dad's a Vietnam vet, so he suffered with PTSD, right?
Mhm.
And he's an alpha guy, right? A mechanic. He fixed stuff around the house. He provided up until, I was 10 when my parents divorced. And I was an every other weekend kid with my dad and summers sometimes, but a lot of times with lot back then, like, men didn't really know how to deal with their if their daughter was crying, they can't fix it, they don't know how to deal with that, it, like, shuts them down, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I just remember, like, when I was in high school, I was like I wrote this long letter to my dad, and then I was like, "And that's a tear right there," like, on the letter.
So that's a tear. I was crying when I
And
wrote
I
this.
got no response from him. He didn't really say anything, and it's because he didn't know how to handle it. And at that time, he didn't. We didn't really know. I think what PTSD was at that point. It wasn't widely as talked about. And then my mom was an alcoholic, and she was like functional alcoholic. She would be sober during the day, and then she'd drink at night. Okay,
Mm,
and so that she wasn't able to, like, fully connect.
right.
So I don't know that I ever felt like, all I know that my parents loved me and they were protective over me, and my parents did the best that they knew how to do, you
Right.
know? And with that, like, dealing with stuff with my mom a lot, I blamed her for a lot of stuff and was very angry and angry with her for getting sick, because I felt like her cigarette smoking and her alcoholism and not taking care of herself led to her having these strokes. And now all this pressure is on me, right?
Mhm.
I have to do it all. But we're led to, my mom uh, took care of me, even though she could have given me up or she could have whatever when I was a child. She had that option, she did not, and, so it's my duty, it's my honor to say that I have the honor and the ability to be able to take care of my mom, and, thankful that God's put people in place to allow me to be able to still live my life and still be able to have her taken care of, yeah, so
Right, that's what I was gonna say, because I know a lot of times on the social part, when you are having to take care of parents and things like that, it affects a lot of people socially. But as far as what you were saying right there, did that affect you socially at all, or were you able to still kind of do your own thing?
um, no, I'm still able to do stuff because I'll just plop my mom in the car because she can still stand up on one foot and stuff. So I lift her and plop her butt in the car and we'll go places when I'm down in Florida. I'll take her and stuff like that and take her places with me. Um, and when I was when my mom first got sick and I was going through and cleaning the house and doing all this stuff at my mom's house, my friend Amy, who's like my sister from another mister, she's and also in the business with me, she was there for me and really helped me get my mom's houses clean and all that stuff. And my friends really were supported me through that process. So when I needed somewhere to sleep and all that stuff, when my mom was in the rehabs facility, I had that opportunity to be able to have that. So yeah. I'm
Okay.
thankful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of times some people have to give up, pretty much
Yeah.
everything, like living and doing things so that they can be right there. But like you said, you're thankful that you have people that are there that
Yeah.
can in and help you out with that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It definitely affected my social life here in Georgia where um I because I was down in Florida a lot that wasn't able to like see my friends as much here in Georgia, so we've drifted apart a little bit. But we're such good friends we can just pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, let's hang out," or whatever. And it'd be like yesterday, so I'm thankful for that, but yeah, definitely it had me disconnected from people here in Georgia a lot, happened to be down in Florida a great deal, so,
Okay.
yeah.
And I'm gonna go to the next question, but I'm thinking about something you said. I'm
Okay.
thinking about you said about forgiveness
Yeah.
because I'm going to ask you about your status of life, but I'm going to tie this into forgiveness
Okay.
because you said that you learned to forgive yourself and you learned to forgive your mom because at the same time you also said that you were angry with your mom at one point of
Yeah,
time with
right.
her lifestyle pretty much you felt like it affected everything now and now
Yeah.
you're having to so with all of that I'm putting this together stay with me. Did that affect your status of living in life with your mom because of the way that you felt towards her?
I would say I don't know about my status of life because of how I felt about for her.
Okay.
It definitely drained my finances more because I had to spend way more money than I had expected to be able to get things arranged for her and then also stuff here. So it definitely does affect me for sure, and that is hard, but I just always like put it on God, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing the right thing, and like we got to figure this out. So yeah.
Okay,
and i
that
and
makes.
i huh and
Mhm.
I'm not the best with managing my finances. I'm like really bad at it, honestly, and that's been one of my like circle struggles I've had forever, which is why I was angry with myself that I haven't been a better steward of my
Mhm.
finances, and taking a little bit more risk in areas I should have to have a higher residual revenue and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone. I'm sure there's plenty of people listening say, yes, me too.
Yeah.
You look back and you're like, man, I should have been a better steward. When I had the finances here, what did I
Yeah.
do with them? And then I didn't take the risk to get to another level here. You are not alone. Me too. Okay. And with all of that, how did you I do want to ask, how did you learn to forgive? And then I want to ask, how did you get through all of this situation? So kind of those two, like how did you overcome it?
Well, I guess God has taught me how to forgive because if we can't forgive others, how can we expect to be forgiven by him?
Mm,
Um, but I think it comes to a place of release where you're not, because when we're not, we're holding on to all of that and we're carrying everything, and that's like extra baggage even more that we have to hold on to. And I don't even know that I'm fully there yet, or if
mm,
I fully know how to be there, if I don't know. But I know that I'm not angry with my mom anymore, so I had to forgive her. I had to not be able to hold on to that and be so upset with her. Yeah. Yeah.
right, because there's no
Yeah.
way that you would have been able to do the things that you do for
Yeah.
her if you held on to that anger and
Yeah.
if you hadn't forgiven. Because I know me, I'm like, if I'm angry, I'm not going to do anything for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so, and how do you think you were, like you said, with God and all of the other things? I wanted to ask, when did you, because you said you started to see a therapist.
Yeah, back in 2017. Yeah.
So what caused you to go ahead and seek therapy?
I was, couldn't sleep at night. I was having insomnia. I was fully depressed. I just felt like I was just fully overwhelmed with everything, and I was not functioning at all.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to be in bed all day, and I just didn't want to deal with life anymore. And like I was exhausted during the daytime. I just was like in a fog.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I need to talk to somebody, and I need to learn how to function and get back to a sense of peace.
Yes,
Yeah.
oh yes,
Yeah.
completely. I know.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the company. Because
Okay.
I'm just gonna slide right into
No,
the
that's
company
okay.
because with that, building the company up will give you more of that finance and that financial freedom so
Right.
that you can take care of it without having to sit on that thorn, and you can take that thorn away and
Yeah.
not have to worry about everything else. So
Yeah.
tell everybody a little bit about your company. How can they support you? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, so as you can see, like it's like craziness, right? And then my business partner Amy, who has a son, and she's married, and they're like trying to figure out, she's super creative, and so she has a lot of craziness in her family as well. And she gets pulled with soccer games, her kid, her spouse, just everything, right? So back in 2020, created You Are Loved store, tried to figure out, okay, how am I going to make this work? I want to be able to bring love and kindness to the world. That was the main goal. So at the end of last year, after reading this book, Zero to a Million, and I finally got some function. Like so I've had other businesses and stuff um that were semi successful. But anyways, so our goal is to help women 35 to 55 who are juggling it all, and to help bring a sense of balance back to their lives. So we launched, and the website is You Are Loved, UARE loved .store, and we help women bring that back through, like, we have a 21-day transformational journal, and then we recently launched an 18-month planner, but it has affirmations in there, and it really tackles three core areas of our life, which is family, friends and family, our relationships, self-care, and then our career. Okay. So I am a Christian. Feel like I should have faith in there, but I just don't want to like negate people that aren't believers, and I want to
Mhm.
make sure that they can come to a sense of peace as well. So, um, so with those three key areas, and it provides tips and stuff each week, to of like ways to be able to help balance that out, and with daily routines and different things like that through physical fitness and your self care and different things. And yeah, so we just recently got into a Hallmark store, independently owned one, and then it's available online. But we're super excited about it. So if you're in Washington, if you go to Gifted Hallmark, they'll have it there for you. But yeah,
That is awesome.
yeah,
Like, seriously, the ages, like you said, did you say from 35 to
to
55?
55, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Like, that audience right there needs something like this,
yeah,
because I know it's for me and my friends with family and careers and children and everything, like you were saying, and being able to stop and actually take care of themselves, doing something for themselves, and remembering that they are loved too.
yeah,
I, that audience needs this.
yeah.
And so thank you for providing this company for them. And it is going to be online, right? So
It is online, yeah, now.
okay. So I'll make sure that I have the links and everything for everyone at the end of the video. So make sure you keep watching,
Okay.
and that way you can go and support. Are you on? You're on LinkedIn
Yep.
and social medias?
Yeah, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. It's all youareloved.store except for LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn is JH Waller is my LinkedIn URL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll have
Yeah.
that for you all also. And so before we get ready to wrap up, I do want to ask you this.
Sure.
If there's someone in the audience that's listening that may be going through similar situations, whether it be family issues, whether it be taking care of a loved one, whether it be going through, like you say, you went through that time where you didn't feel like getting out the bed, you felt like sleeping, you felt like, you were in a fog. If someone's going through any of that, what advice would you give them?
One of the biggest things that when I'm going through something hard or whatever, and I'm feeling sad about something, I give myself a time limit. Okay. So a day, 2 days max. And after that, then you need to just force yourself to get up and just go do it. And one of the biggest things is start giving, right? Start doing for others because a lot of that is self-loathing and self-depression and just so focused on all the negative stuff that we have going on in our lives. But if we can go out and give and provide to somebody else or just go out and volunteer somewhere or help someone that's less fortunate than we are and or just call a friend and encourage them and tell them how much you love them and just call your friends that you know may also be struggling and just ask them, is there anything, just call to tell you I love you, and and just send them a positive message because that will help add more positivity also to ourselves. We don't do it for that, but we do it because we truly love and care about our friends and family and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, or go to like a drive-through if you're going to get something to eat, pay for the car behind you. Just do something where you're not thinking about yourself and you're giving out to someone else. And I'd say give yourself a time limit
Okay, I like
for
that.
loathing, not for giving. A time limit on loathing only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a time
Yeah.
limit on giving. I'm only going to give a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
No, for the loathing, that's good because I was just thinking about that today. Like sometimes you do have to take a pause, but don't let that pause turn into a period where you
Yeah, I
just
love that.
completely stop. A pause, you may have to pause, but give yourself a time limit on how long you loathe and then get back up. And I love that also giving to others because when you're giving to others, you're not really thinking about yourself. And at the same time, you're remembering that others may, because with me, I remember it reminds me, hey, there's others that may be going through something even worse than
Mhm.
what I'm going through. And so giving does makes you feel good. It makes me feel good when I give.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you again. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your story and thank you for sharing with the audience. Do you have any last words of encouragement that you'd like to leave?
Uh, sure. Let's see here. Just remember that um when things feel like it's like you're going through this mess in your life, just remember it's not the first mess that you've gone through. Remember that you've gone through another mess and you came through it on the other side. So, regardless of how awful this seems, just know you got to keep moving forward and get on that other side of the mess. And the only way you'll do that is by being consistent with positive actions in your life and continuing to get up out of bed and continue going.
Yes. And we're going to wrap it up on that because you've gone through mess before. You came through that one and you can get through this one too. I love it. I love it. And as we wrap up another episode of What's Your Mess, I want to leave you all with this powerful quote to carry with you throughout your lives. If you want to be sad, keep thinking about your past. If you want to be anxious and worried, think about the future. But if you want to be happy, focus on the present and the things that you have today and be grateful for those things. This is Tracey D. Armstrong with What's Your Mess. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one, y'all.